Hello, this is Donna, and we are in for a treat. This is another episode of You Are Designed for Greatness. And today I have Jody with me. Jody is going to be sharing her story and some tips and strategies today to feel worthy. That's one of the topics we talked about. So, welcome, Jody. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, Donna. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be a guest and also to share with your audience a bit about my story and like you said, that overcoming that maybe feeling lack of worthiness.
Yes. And anybody listening can tell that you're not from Michigan, where I'm located. So where in the world are you?
Where in the world? I am in Queensland, Australia. So Sunshine Coast, just 4 minutes away from the beach. Quite a nice spot to be.
It sounds beautiful. What is the weather like there today?
Well, it's very early at the time of recording, so the sun's just coming up, but it's looking like a nice blue sky.
All right. Well, it is not. It's toward the end of our day today, not complete end. So the time difference is amazing. And we have had rain with a chance of snow. So yeah, it's not. It is the potential when I'm recording this anyway. When it actually airs, may not be so. But so tell us about you.
Well, it's such a weird thing. I just say, well, I'm just your average kind of nearly 50. I'll be 50 in a couple of weeks. Oh my goodness. Woman with 3 kids who just went through the system of like going through school, got married young just before I was 20, worked for the government, had 3 kids and started raising them. And that's when this whole accidental entrepreneur thing happened, was because it was like, I need to do something that's going to be a bit more flexible, that it's going to allow me to look after the kids without having to put in for leave. And I mean, over here, you get lots of holidays, school holidays, and it's like, well, what happens with the kids while I'm at work? It's daycare. So that started me on this. What can I do that I can work from home, work around my family? So so it's just a matter of necessity that I started looking at other options rather than just going out and doing the 9 to 5. What's out there that I can create sort of life and a business, or not even a business, but just starting generating income for the household on my own terms.
Yes, I had a similar experience where we had some surprising debt that arose, and it was going to require me, where I had been the privilege of staying home with my children as they were growing up, and they're in high school, and we had got this surprise situation that arose, and I was going to have to go get a job, and that meant I'd be away. And I think that high school kids need us even more, perhaps. I don't know that it's more, but it's still, they do still need us. And so I didn't want the traditional job. So I always had an entrepreneur streak. I'm like, so what can we do that will not require me to go outside the home to work? And so I understand that. And there's a really scary step in there. It's like, who do I think I am? And can I really do this? And and what if I fail? And all of the things that come up when we're doing that. My husband and I went into property management, and we bought rental properties and managed them, never having them before. In 3 months, we went from never having a rental property to having 50 units.
Wow. That's huge. That's a right?
Exactly. And so I know all of that. Who do you think, can you do this? And managing it all. And, it was a lot to be able to go through. And so there's a lot of emotions that strike out, but so many women, it would change their life to make a little bit more money and be able to stay home, because almost after we spend for daycare, which is it almost cost us to work.
That's right.
Crazy. Well, it's not, our children are worth it, but still, in comparison to the wage that we make, it's quite extensive. So tell us about the transition. How did you walk through that?
Well, so I was working It's a very interesting journey. I was working for the government at the time, just as a receptionist, and it's like, I've got to look for something else. So I thought I'll be a teacher's aide because I'll get school holidays then, right? But then I was doing the study, and I was doing the vocational placement in the work placement, and I was surrounded by 50, that's 50, screaming 5-year-olds. And I went, this is not the gig for me. No. So it's like, well, what else can I do? And then I bought a, work from home magazine, and there was private investigator sort of stuff. Well, it was unclaimed money. And it was like, okay. And so I, went and I got a private investigator license, and I was skip tracking people down and getting money back from them that the government hadn't taken. So a Robin Hood kind of situation. But then the government didn't like that so much because I got millions of dollars back from them and given it back to people. So they don't like you doing that so much. They like to hold on to it. So I was like, well, it's time for something new. And for some reason, I just fell into the world of Facebook because I could see the opportunities that it gives not only any kind of business or anyone that wanted to get their expertise online, but also as a service provider to provide a service to these businesses and these people, right? Because they're looking for people to do their Facebook ads or organic marketing or whatever it was. So I just saw the opportunity there and then just fell into it. And it was just that consistency of like learning bit by bit. And then I was in their group and they wanted someone to help out with their Facebook ads, and it was just $12 an hour. And I said, I'm learning, I'm happy to give it a go. And so by doing that, that just really opened up the doors. I got thrown in the deep end. We were doing a launch, and but from there, right at that moment, and I guess there's triggers from it, like my whole life is like we were saying, of feeling worthy or having to prove myself, because we were actually ended up on holidays at that time. And that was a rare thing because my husband was self-employed. But I felt I just had to work, give all these hours. So that actual $12 an hour rate, I would have more been like 8 hours, because I wouldn't have even billed for some of the extra hours, because I'd be thinking, oh, what would they think of me? I'm charging too much, too many hours. And it was like, so yeah, not respectful of myself at all.
Yeah.
So that's something that, for myself over the years, as working with clients, being a service provider and feeling like you have to give them a kidney when you're charging them $200 a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then as well as the ad managers that I train also get stuck in this, oh gee, I can only charge this much. And then if they do go to charge more, they're like, well, what else can I give them instead of appreciating themselves, the value and the expertise that they are bringing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely relate to all of that feelings of charging too much and minimizing our value through all of that process. So what actually are you doing?
What actually am I doing? Well, I train and equip women to make 6 figures a year running Facebook ads for clients. But aside from just the technical skills of all of that, it's that support, like you were saying, it's helping them with imposter syndrome, helping them with those limiting beliefs. Because, it's also those money patterns that as they've, grew up with, of what their parents might have thought about money, but they've also got. And I mean, for a lot of ad managers, where you've got clients that are selling $1,000 product or a $10,000 mastermind, it's a matter of like, okay, so if you increase your price from just $1,000 a month to $1,500 a month, that's covered by just one sale. And they go, oh, yeah. So for them still, they just have this huge block in their mind of like, oh my gosh, I just can't charge this much because it's so much money. It's like, it's one sale for them or less.
Right.
So yeah, so it's really not just looking at the skill set. And that's where we also look at, mindset. That is such a big thing with what we do.
Right. That's amazing. So you have gone from $12 an hour to creating a profitable business for you and other women as well, being able to help them. That is wonderful through all of that. Any other tips or strategies you'd like to share today?
Well, with that as well, it's a matter of like, like I was saying, feeling your worthiness as well, but then also having boundaries in place, because when you're like providing a service or you've got clients on board, like I said, it might be that thinking I need to, prove myself here. But then it's also that matter of having those boundaries. That's a big thing with, especially in the ads world, because we'll get messages from clients at like 8 o'clock at night going, oh, my campaigns aren't working. I haven't got the right number of leads, X, Y, Z. But it's like, it's okay for you to not respond straight away because you're not a doctor, right? You wait until business hours, and, be clear about that up front. So it's having your boundaries in place as well, so that you can recharge, because you're not there to be turned on, 24/7, there for your clients. One of the reasons why we do this, and a lot of women do this, is, and myself, we wanted to work from home. We wanted to be there for our families. So be there for our families. And it's so easy when you're working from home just to, wander out to the kitchen or do something, or get disrupted and go off and do something else, or come back to your computer at dinner time saying, oh, I'm just going to check this. And 3 hours later, you're still at the computer.
Yeah.
So standing up for yourself in that again. So your worthiness, not just financially, but with your hourly rates or your retainers, but also of your worthiness of your time, and how whatever it is, whether it's your family, whether it's your fur babies, whether it's catching up with your friends, we're here and we're typically doing this work because we want that lifestyle balance. And so many of us lose it. So it's that matter of standing up for yourself with what you charge, and then also with your boundaries and with your time. And it's okay not to respond straight away, right? You're not the doctor. You don't have to, it's not like a life or death situation typically in our line of work. But yeah, just watch your boundaries is something else that I also really help our women with.
That's beautiful. What books are you reading or have read that have been an inspiration to you?
Gosh, well, one of the books, well, there's two. One I'm really loving, Denise Duffield Thomas's, if you're familiar with her. She's also here in Australia, Denise Duffield Thomas. She's got a book, Get Rich Lucky Bitch. And so that's really good, just again, to help with those mindset and those money blocks. But one book that I always go back to that I really love was How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bettcher. It's an oldie, like it goes way back, but just the principles and the whole attitude of like how he goes about, because if you're in business, or even if you're not in business, right, we're all selling ourselves in some way. So it just, because I would never see myself as a salesperson, and I'd always cringe at sales calls and having commission breath, but it just really took away that, and it just helps things to flow. And if you can do sales, you can win in anything in life, really.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I wrote down both of them because I'm a reader, and
Awesome.
so I love to get books. What's the worst advice you ever received?
Whoa, oh my gosh, that is a great question. The worst advice I'd ever received. Well, it was actually as I was doing a training to become an agency owner, like a Facebook ad agency owner. And someone said, we're not teaching you guys to be like a Facebook ad guru. We're teaching you to be a business owner. And that really, for me, derailed me at one point, because where I was at, it was like, I really wanted to get this good expertise because, it was so valuable. And if I was doing this service to clients, this is what I really did need to know. So that derailed me for a long time to think, okay, I've got to forget about this and worry about all of this. Whereas over the years, it's been like, okay, do I want to build an agency, or do I want to work intimately and have what I call a boutique agency, working with just a few clients rather than having like 50 or 100 clients on board in this big team? So that was something to derail me. So through that, I'd learned that, okay, so while there is, we have mentors, 100% recommend them and they're great, but don't always just blindly follow them. Always come back to you, your core values and beliefs, and what it is that you want. And remember that you're in control, and if you're here and you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're not, you can design the lifestyle and the business that you want.
Absolutely. I love that. great story, great sharing, and being able to impact your own life as well as others is always something that I'm celebrating for women to be able to um, be confident and be one in our place with that. So thank you for sharing on You Are Designed for Greatness, and you are showing that with everything that you do. So pleasure to meet you. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we complete? How would people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, of course, Jody Milward, and just on my website, jodymilward.com.
Awesome. We'll put that stuff in the show notes. It's been a pleasure to contact with you all around the world, and I hope you have a fabulous day. And I'm going to have a fabulous evening.
Thank you so much for having me, Donna. It's been an absolute blast.
My pleasure.